The shelter was quieter than usual that afternoon. The kind of quiet that settles into the walls, soft footsteps, distant water bowls clinking, the low hum of fluorescent lights. Maya signed her name on the volunteer sheet like she always did, clipped on a badge and walked past rows of kennels filled with wagging tails, hopeful eyes and the familiar chorus of barks. Then she reached kennel number 12. The dog inside didn't bark. He didn't wag his tail. He just watched her. He was a medium-sized shelter pup with sandy fur and eyes that looked older than they should have been. When Maya knelt down, he stood perfectly still, body tense, ears slightly back. A volunteer nearby whispered, "Careful. He doesn't like being touched." Maya hesitated, her hand hovering in the air. She smiled softly anyway, murmuring something gentle. The dog took one step closer, then another. Slowly, cautiously, he pressed his head into her palm. Behind her, staff members froze. They had tried everything. Treats. Toys. Time. This dog snapped at hands, growled at strangers, and shrank away from affection. Yet here he was, eyes closed, breathing steady, leaning into Maya like he'd known her forever. When another volunteer stepped closer, the dog stiffened instantly, placing his body between them and Maya. A low warning rumble in his chest. That's when the staff began to exchange uneasy looks. Because this wasn't just trust. This was recognition. And moments later everything changed. Before we continue, remember to like, share and subscribe for more heart-touching dog stories. And tell me, where are you watching from? The shelter settled into its afternoon rhythm without ceremony. A soft quiet lingered in the air. Not silence exactly, but something gentler. The distant clink of stainless steel bowls. A mop bucket rolling over concrete. The hum of lights overhead, steady and patient. Maya pushed through the front doors and paused for a moment, letting the smell wash over her. Clean disinfectant. Warm fur. A faint trace of kibble and laundry soap. It always smelled like this. Familiar. Grounding. She signed her name on the volunteer sheet, clipped the laminated badge to her sweater, and gave a small wave to the front desk. "Hey Maya," someone called softly. "You're early." "Couldn't sleep," she replied with a half smile. It wasn't unusual. Volunteering had become her anchor over the last few months. A place where time slowed, where expectations were simple. Walk the dogs. Clean the kennels. Sit quietly with the shy ones. No pressure to explain herself. No need to fill the quiet. She moved down the main aisle, shoes echoing lightly. Kennels lined both sides. Some filled with eager faces pressed forward, tails thumping like metronomes against metal. Others held dogs curled tightly in the back, watching with cautious eyes. Maya greeted them the same way she always did. Soft voice. Slow movements. No sudden gestures. "Hi there," she murmured. "Hey buddy. It's okay. I see you." A few noses followed her fingers as she passed. One dog barked once, sharp, hopeful, then settled. She smiled. This was the part she loved most. The beginning. The quiet connection before the world asked anything of them. Halfway down the aisle, she noticed the change. The sound dropped away. Not completely, but enough that she felt it before she understood it. Kennel 12 sat near the end, slightly apart. The light above it flickered faintly, casting soft shadows against the concrete wall behind. Inside, a sandy-colored dog stood perfectly still. No barking. No pacing. Just watching. Maya slowed without realizing it. His eyes were dark and steady, following her with an intensity that made her chest tighten. His ears were tilted back. Not flat, not afraid, just alert. His tail hung low but loose, unmoving. She stopped in front of the kennel. The dog didn't approach. He didn't retreat either. They stared at each other through the bars. Maya swallowed. "Hey," she said quietly. The dog's head tilted a fraction. Behind her, footsteps approached. Jenna, one of the shelter attendants, paused when she saw where Maya was standing. "Oh," Jenna said gently. That's Kennel 12. Maya didn't look away. "What's his name?" Jenna hesitated. "Still temporary. We're calling him Bo." "Bo." The dog blinked slowly, eyes never leaving Maya. He's not a big fan of people, Jenna continued. We're giving him space. He had a rough intake. Maya nodded, understanding. I won't push. She crouched anyway, slowly, keeping her hands visible, palms resting on her knees. Bo's posture changed. Not dramatically, just enough. His weight shifted forward. One paw lifted, hovered, then set back down. Maya felt the quiet stretch. The world narrowed to breath and heartbeat. It's okay, she whispered. I'm just sitting. Behind her, another volunteer paused, curiosity pulling them closer. Bo noticed immediately. His body stiffened. Not aggressive, not panicked, just alert. His head turned slightly, positioning himself between Maya and the movement behind her. Maya noticed it too. She stayed still. Sorry, the volunteer murmured and stepped back. Bo relaxed a fraction. Maya let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Hey buddy, she said again, softer now. You're doing great. Minutes passed. Or maybe seconds. Time felt strange in that quiet pocket. Bo stepped forward until his nose touched the bars. He inhaled slowly, carefully. His ears twitched at the sound of Maya's breathing. She lifted one hand, stopped halfway. Waited. Bo didn't move. Her fingers hovered, trembling just slightly. You don't have to, she whispered. Then Bo closed the distance himself. He pressed his forehead gently against the metal bars, exactly where her hand rested. The contact was tentative. Testing. Maya's breath caught. She didn't pet him. Not yet. She simply let her palm rest there, warm against cool fur. Bo exhaled. Long. Deep. His eyes slid shut. Behind them, Jenna froze. Someone else whispered. Is he letting her? Maya finally moved her hand. Just a fraction, fingers curling softly along the top of Bo's head. No flinch. No growl. Just stillness. And trust. Bo leaned into her touch, the weight of his head heavy and sure, as if he'd been holding it up for a very long time and had finally found a place to rest. Maya felt her throat tighten. Hey, she breathed. I've got you. A soft sound rumbled from Bo's chest. Not quite a sigh, not quite a whine. Something in between. Something old. Something relieved. Another step echoed behind her. Bo's eyes opened instantly. He shifted his body sideways, pressing closer to the bars, his shoulder aligned protectively in front of Maya's crouched form. A quiet warning lived in his posture. Jenna raised her hand slowly. It's okay, she said. I'll give you space. The staff backed away. No one spoke. Maya stayed where she was, heart pounding, hand still resting against Bo's fur. She didn't understand what was happening, but she felt it. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't luck. This was something deeper, something Bo had recognized before she ever knew to look. And somewhere beneath the hum of lights and the quiet shelter sounds, a truth was beginning to surface. One that would soon change everything. The staff watched from a distance. Not openly. Not obviously. But closely enough that Maya could feel the weight of their attention without turning around. Bo stayed at the front of his kennel long after Maya finally stood and stepped back. His eyes followed her as she moved slow, deliberate down the aisle. His body remained angled toward her path, as if part of him hadn't accepted that she was really leaving. When she glanced back just once, she saw it. His tail lifted slightly, then stilled again. That night, Jenna pulled Maya aside near the storage room. I hope you know, she said quietly, lowering her voice. That wasn't normal. Maya gave a small, uncertain laugh. I didn't do anything special. That's the thing, Jenna replied. No one ever does. She leaned against the wall, folding her arms. The fluorescent light buzzed softly overhead. He's been here almost 3 weeks, Jenna continued. He doesn't like hands. He tolerates food being slid in. Walks are hit or miss. We've had to double up with staff just to move him. Maya pictured Bo's steady breathing. His closed eyes. The weight of his head resting against her palm. He didn't seem afraid, Maya said slowly. No, Jenna agreed. He's not aggressive either. Just closed. The word lingered. Closed. The next afternoon, Maya returned earlier than usual. The shelter smelled faintly of rain, the kind that never fully soaks the ground, just darkens it. Outside, clouds pressed low against the windows, muting the light inside. Bo was already standing when she reached Kennel 12, as if he'd been waiting. His ears flicked forward then back again, reading her. His tail swayed once. Low. Careful. Maya crouched at a respectful distance. Hi, she said. Bo didn't move closer. But he didn't move away either. That alone felt like progress. She stayed there, breathing slow, talking softly about nothing in particular. The weather, the way the shelter always felt colder near the floors, the sound of rain on the roof. Her voice wasn't for him, really. It was for the space between them. Behind her, someone approached too quickly. Bo noticed before Maya did. His body stiffened. Not alarmed, just aware. His ears pinned back slightly. His head turned, tracking the movement. A quiet tension rippled through him like a held breath. It's okay, Maya whispered, though she wasn't sure who she was reassuring. The volunteer stopped. Bo relaxed again. It happened like that, again and again. Each time someone passed too close, Bo adjusted. Each time Maya shifted, he mirrored her movement, subtle and protective, always positioning himself between her and the world beyond the kennel. Staff began to notice patterns. They talked in low voices near the break room. They checked in, take notes again. Found nothing new. Just a line that stood out more now than it had before. Avoids touch. Displays selective trust. Selective. Over the next few days, Maya became Bo's constant. Not officially. No one assigned her. Just happened. Whenever she arrived, Bo was calmer. His pacing slowed. His eyes softened. He began to sit near the front of the kennel instead of the back corner. But only when it was her. When others tried to replicate it, same movements, same treats, same tone, Bo retreated again. He tolerated no substitutions. One afternoon, a trainer knelt beside Maya, observing quietly. May I? The trainer asked, gesturing gently. Maya hesitated. Just go slow. The trainer moved carefully, hand outstretched. Bo's ears flattened. His body leaned sideways, subtly but unmistakably, blocking the path between the hand and Maya's knee. A low sound vibrated in his chest. Not a growl. A warning. The trainer withdrew immediately. Okay, she said calmly. Message received. Maya's heart thudded. She hadn't realized how completely Bo had claimed that space, that role, until then. Later, Jenna sat with Maya at the small break table, paper cups of coffee between them. We've never seen anything like this, she admitted. It's not just preference. It's connection. Maya stared into her cup. I don't understand it, she said honestly. I'm not special. Jenna smiled softly. Dogs don't care about special. They care about familiar. Safe. Known. That night Maya dreamed of Bo. Not as he was now, wary and watchful, but as something younger. Running. Pausing. Turning back to make sure someone followed. She woke with a tightness in her chest she couldn't explain. The next day something changed. When Maya reached Kennel 12, Bo didn't wait for her to crouch. He sat. Straight-backed. Focused. His eyes locked onto hers with an intensity that made her breath hitch. Hey, she whispered. Bo whined softly, just once, and pressed his nose against the bars, exactly where her hand always rested. Maya felt it then. Not fear. Not excitement. Responsibility. Like Bo wasn't just choosing her. Like he was asking something of her. Behind her, Jenna watched quietly. So, she murmured almost to herself. That's how it starts. Maya didn't hear her. She was too focused on the dog in front of her. The one who wouldn't let anyone close. The one who had decided, without hesitation, that she was his person. And whatever that meant, they were about to find out. The shelter was louder that morning. Delivery day. Metal carts rattled over the concrete floors. Dogs barked in overlapping rhythms, excited, anxious, curious. Voices echoed down the aisle, layered with the sharp hiss of disinfectant spray. Maya almost turned around. Not because she didn't want to see Bo, but because she worried the noise might undo everything they'd built in quiet. When she reached Kennel 12, she stopped. Bo wasn't pacing. He stood near the front, shoulders squared, eyes alert but steady. His ears flicked at every sound, tracking movement like a radar. Still, he didn't retreat. He saw her, and something in his posture softened. Maya exhaled. "Hey," she said. Bo took one step forward, then stopped, as if waiting for permission. Maya crouched slowly, mindful of every movement. The noise around them faded. Not completely, but enough that she could hear Bo's breathing. Slow. Controlled. A faint whistle through his nose. She extended her hand. Not all the way. Just enough. Her fingers hovered in the air, inches from the bars. This was different from before. This time she wasn't just letting him lean into her. She was asking. Bo's eyes dropped to her hand. His ears tilted back, then forward again. His tail remained still, low, thoughtful. Seconds passed. A cart clanged nearby. Bo flinched. Maya froze. "It's okay," she whispered, barely louder than breath. Bo steadied himself. Took a step closer. Another. His nose touched her fingertips. Warm. Dry. Real. Maya felt her chest tighten. She didn't move. She let him lead. Bo inhaled deeply, cataloging her scent the way dogs do. Information layered with memory. Then, slowly, he lifted his head and nudged her hand upward. An invitation. Maya swallowed. She placed her palm gently against the top of his head. Stillness. No recoil. No tension spike. Just contact. Bo's eyes slid closed. The sound he made then was barely audible, a soft exhale that seemed to come from somewhere deep in his chest. His muscles loosened in a way that spoke of long-held vigilance finally easing. Maya felt tears sting her eyes. She hadn't expected this. Hadn't prepared for how heavy his trust would feel. She stroked once. Carefully. From forehead to between his ears. Bo leaned forward, pressing his weight into the touch. His ears relaxed fully now, falling to the sides. His tail swayed once, tentative but unmistakable. Behind her someone gasped. Maya didn't turn. She didn't need to. She could feel the shift in the air, the stillness that follows something rare. Bo shifted his stance slightly, angling his body sideways, positioning himself closer to Maya's knee. His shoulder brushed the bars. Protective. Grounded. When a volunteer stepped closer to get a better look, Bo's eyes opened instantly. His head lifted. His body tensed. Not in fear, not in aggression, but in readiness. He placed himself between Maya and the approaching figure, a quiet barrier of muscle and intent. "Whoa," the volunteer murmured, stepping back. Okay. Bo relaxed again just as quickly. Maya's heart hammered. She hadn't realized how attuned he was, how every movement around her registered with him. She pulled her hand back slowly. Bo followed it with his gaze. She rested her palm against the bars again. Bo leaned into it without hesitation. Later in the break room, the staff gathered in low voices. "That was the first time," Jenna said, disbelief threaded through her tone. "The first time he's allowed that." The trainer nodded slowly. "That wasn't desensitization," she said. "That was choice." Maya sat quietly, hands wrapped around a paper cup she hadn't touched. Choice. The word echoed. That afternoon, when Maya returned to say goodbye, Bo sat calmly at the front of his kennel. He watched her with soft eyes, his posture relaxed but attentive. She knelt. "You did really good today," she whispered. Bo tilted his head. She placed her hand against the bars one last time. Bo rested his forehead there. Steady, warm, present. For the first time since arriving at the shelter, he didn't watch her leave. He trusted she would come back. And somewhere deep inside Maya, a realization settled, quiet but undeniable. This wasn't a breakthrough. It was the beginning. The pattern became impossible to ignore. It showed itself in small moments first, the kind that might have passed unnoticed if no one had been paying attention. A shift of weight. A step taken sideways instead of forward. A quiet, deliberate placement of Bo's body between Maya and whatever moved too close. He never rushed, never barked, never showed teeth, but he always knew. On the third morning after the first touch, Maya arrived to find the shelter buzzing with activity. A group of school volunteers had come in early, their voices bright and unfiltered, shoes squeaking as they moved in clusters down the aisle. Bo noticed them immediately. His ears flicked back and forth, tracking the unfamiliar sounds. His posture stiffened just enough that Maya felt it before she saw it. She crouched in front of his kennel. "It's okay," she murmured. Bo stepped closer to the bars, not retreating, not advancing, simply placing himself where he could see everything. His body angled sideways again, one shoulder aligned protectively near where Maya knelt. When a voice rose too loud behind her, Bo leaned forward, pressing closer to the bars. Not frantic, focused. Maya stayed still. She trusted him now. A teacher guided the group away, and Bo's posture softened. His tail gave a slow, controlled sweep. His ears relaxed. Jenna, watching from the end of the aisle, made a note on her clipboard. Later that afternoon, Maya took Bo out to the small enclosed yard for the first time. 2 staff members accompanied them, moving slowly, giving him space. Bo walked calmly beside Maya, the leash loose. He checked in often, glancing up, reading her expression, matching her pace. Outside, the air smelled like damp earth and leaves. The sky hung low and gray. Bo paused near the fence, nose lifting, reading the wind. A delivery truck rumbled past the shelter. Bo froze. Maya felt the leash tighten, not in panic but in alertness. He stepped in front of her, fully this time. His body blocked her path, his stance wide and steady. His ears were forward now, eyes fixed on the sound until it faded into the distance. Only then did he turn back to her. He didn't pull, didn't react further. He just waited, watching her face for cues. Maya's chest tightened. "You're okay," she whispered. "I'm okay." Bo relaxed, tail lowering, posture easing. The staff exchanged glances. Inside, the behavior repeated. Whenever someone unfamiliar moved too quickly, Bo adjusted his position. When Maya stood, he stood. When she crouched, he lowered himself too. It wasn't training. It was attunement. One afternoon, a man came in asking about adoptions. He leaned over the kennel bars near Bo's run, peering inside. Bo's ears pinned back. He stepped forward instantly, placing himself flush against the bars, shoulders squared. His eyes stayed locked on the man, calm, unwavering. Maya felt it before she understood it. The air shifted. She stood slowly. The man straightened, unsettled. I'll come back later," he muttered. Bo didn't move until he was gone. Jenna exhaled. "That," she said quietly, "wasn't fear." Maya nodded. She could feel the difference now. Fear trembles. Protection anchors. That evening, as Maya prepared to leave, she noticed Bo wasn't watching the aisle anymore. He was watching her. She turned. "You're not in trouble," she told him softly. "I'll be back." Bo whined once, low and brief, then settled into a sit, posture alert but calm. At the front desk, Jenna hesitated before speaking. "We've pulled his intake file again," she said. "There are gaps. Places where information should be, but isn't." Maya's stomach tightened. "What kind of gaps?" Jenna shook her head. "We're not sure yet." That night, Maya lay awake listening to rain against her window, replaying the way Bo had stepped in front of her without thinking, without training. Instinctively, it felt familiar in a way she couldn't explain. As if she'd stood behind him before. As if this wasn't the first time he'd chosen to guard her. The next day the sign came again, clearer than before. A sudden noise. A raised voice. Bo moved instantly, body firm and steady, positioning himself between Maya and the chaos without hesitation. The shelter fell silent. No one said it out loud, but everyone felt it. This wasn't coincidence. This was memory. And whatever Bo was protecting her from or remembering was closer to the surface now. The answer didn't arrive all at once. It surfaced slowly, in fragments, in paperwork pulled twice, in quiet conversations that stopped when Maya entered the room. Jenna finally asked her to sit down late one afternoon, after the shelter had closed to the public. The lights were dimmer then, softer. The building felt older somehow, as if it exhaled when the noise left. Bo rested inside his kennel, lying near the front now. Calm. Watching. Always watching. We didn't want to jump to conclusions, Jenna said, folding her hands together. But the more we look, the more things line up. Maya's heart beat faster. Line up how? Jenna slid a thin file across the table. Bo's intake report. The pages were worn from being handled too often. Animal control picked him up 6 months ago, Jenna said. Out near Pine Hollow Road. He was found sitting beside a burned-out vehicle. Maya froze. The room felt suddenly too small. A woman had been living out of her car, Jenna continued gently. Single. Early 30s. The report says the dog wouldn't leave her side. Even after. She stopped. Let the silence do the work. After the paramedics arrived. Maya swallowed hard. The image rose uninvited. Flashing lights. Rain. Smoke. A road that curved too sharply at night. Jenna went on. The woman passed at the scene. No next of kin listed. The dog was sedated just to move him. Maya's fingers tightened around the edge of the table. What does this have to do with me? She asked, though her voice already knew. Jenna hesitated. Because, she said softly, the description of the woman, the way she dressed, the jacket she wore. She paused. Matches your sister. The words didn't land. They sank. Heavy. Quiet. Maya stared at the wall as if it might tilt. That's not possible, she whispered. But it was. Her sister Leah. Gone 2 years now. Not dead, just disappeared. A rift that never healed. A phone call unanswered. A distance that turned permanent before either of them understood it had. Maya stood abruptly. I need air. She walked to Bo's kennel on unsteady legs. He lifted his head instantly, ears alert, eyes softening when he saw her face. She crouched. Her breath shook. Bo stood and stepped forward, resting his head against the bars, exactly where her hand found him. The memory hit her then. Leah's dog. The one she'd rescued during a rough patch. The one Maya had met only once briefly, before life pulled them apart. Same sandy fur. Same dark, searching eyes. Same habit of leaning in quietly instead of demanding affection. Oh, Maya breathed. Bo pressed closer. Not excited. Not frantic. Certain. She rested her forehead against the cool metal and closed her eyes. That night, pieces came together. The way Bo watched her walk away, like he'd seen someone do that before and never come back. The way he blocked others, not out of fear but loyalty. The way he leaned into her touch like something lost had finally found its place again. She whispered his name. Bo. His tail thumped once. Slow. Measured. The next morning Maya brought a photo. Old. Creased. Pulled from a box she hadn't opened in months. Leah stood beside a car, arms slung around a dog who looked impossibly familiar. Bo stared at it. His ears lifted. His nose touched the paper. He whined softly, and pressed his head into Maya's chest through the bars, breathing fast for just a moment before settling again. The shelter staff didn't speak. They didn't need to. Some connections don't require proof. They reveal themselves. And as Maya wrapped her arms around herself, feeling Bo's steady presence on the other side of the kennel door, one truth settled gently into place. He hadn't chosen her at random. He had found her again. The shelter had learned to move around Bo. Quietly. Respectfully. No one challenged his space with Maya anymore. They didn't need a rule. They had seen enough. Still, life didn't slow down just because something sacred had formed. That afternoon, the sky darkened early. A sudden storm rolled in without warning. Heavy rain hammering the roof, thunder low and distant. Understoggle lights flickered once, then steadied. Maya was helping clean one of the side corridors when the sound cut through everything. A sharp crash. Metal against concrete. A yelp startled human. Maya's body reacted before her mind did. She turned toward the sound, heart spiking. And Bo moved. Instantly. The leash slipped from Maya's hand as Bo surged forward. Not pulling, not panicking, but accelerating with purpose. His ears were forward now. His posture low and steady. "Maya!" someone shouted. She ran after him. The corridor opened into the storage bay where supplies were stacked high. A rolling rack had tipped, pinning a young volunteer's leg at an awkward angle. She was pale, shaking, trying not to cry. Before Maya could reach her, Bo placed himself between the fallen rack and the volunteer, wide stance, solid frame, bracing it just enough to stop it from shifting further. He didn't bark. He didn't growl. He held. Maya dropped to her knees. "It's okay," she said to the volunteer. "We've got you." Bo glanced back at Maya just once, eyes checking in. Then he leaned harder. The rack creaked but stayed. Staff rushed in, lifting carefully, sliding the rack free inch by inch. Bo didn't move until the weight was gone and the volunteer was safe. Only then did he step back. Tail low, breathing controlled. The volunteer sobbed in relief. Maya's hand shook as she wrapped her arms around Bo's neck, careful, grounding herself in the warmth of him. "You did so good," she whispered. "You knew." Bo leaned into her. Not for praise, not for comfort. For connection. Later, as the storm passed and the shelter settled again, the staff gathered quietly near Bo's kennel. "That could have been bad," Jenna said softly. The trainer nodded. "He assessed the situation faster than any of us." Maya sat on the floor beside Bo's kennel, back against the wall. Her pulse finally slowed. This wasn't just recognition anymore. This was action. Instinct translating into protection not just of her but of the people around her. That night, Maya took Bo home for the first overnight foster. The decision wasn't dramatic. Felt inevitable. The rain had washed the streets clean, leaving everything damp and reflective. Bo sat quietly in the back seat, watching the world pass with alert curiosity. Every so often he glanced forward, checking that Maya was still there. Her apartment was small. Warm. Soft lamplight filled the room. Bo paused at the doorway. Assessed. Then stepped inside. He moved slowly, sniffing corners, reading the space. When Maya sat on the couch, he lay down a few feet away, not touching but close enough to feel. Protective distance. Later, a knock sounded unexpectedly. Maya startled. Bo was on his feet instantly, not barking, not charging, but standing squarely between her and the door. He waited. Maya breathed. "It's okay," she said. She checked the peephole. A neighbor. Harmless. Bo relaxed only when she did. That night, as Maya lay awake listening to Bo's steady breathing on the floor beside her bed, she understood something she hadn't allowed herself to feel before. She hadn't just lost Leah. She had lost the one who watched over her when she wasn't there. And now he was here. Still doing his job. Still keeping someone safe. In the quiet darkness, Bo lifted his head once, listening to something only he could hear. Then he settled again. Guarding. Waiting. Not because he was afraid, but because love, once given, doesn't forget how to protect. Healing didn't announce itself. It arrived quietly, in routines, in pauses, in the absence of fear where it used to live. The first mornings were the hardest. Bo woke early, always alert, ears flicking at every unfamiliar sound from the street below. He paced once around the apartment, checking corners, nose low, tail relaxed but ready. Maya let him. She didn't rush him. She watched from the couch, wrapped in a blanket, coffee cooling in her hands. She noticed how Bo glanced back at her after every circuit. Not anxious, just making sure she was still there. "I'm not going anywhere," she murmured. Bo paused. Saturday. Then lay down again. Day by day the pacing slowed. Bo learned the sounds of the building. The elevator hum, the neighbor's footsteps, the distant traffic. He learned that not every noise required a response. And Maya learned something too. How to breathe through memories instead of pushing them away. How to let grief sit beside her without taking over the room. On walks, Bo stayed close. Not glued to her leg, just aware. His leash remained loose, his posture calm. When strangers passed, he watched them carefully, then looked to Maya for cues. She smiled more. Not wide. Just enough. Sometimes they stopped at the small park 2 blocks away. Bo liked the patch of grass near the trees, where sunlight filtered through leaves and the air smelled like damp soil. He'd sit there, eyes half closed, soaking it in. Maya would talk. About Leah. About the guilt of unanswered calls. About the way time changes things without permission. Bo listened the way only dogs can, present, steady, without judgment. When her voice broke, he didn't panic. He leaned in, rested his head on her knee, grounded her. At the shelter, Bo's progress surprised everyone. He tolerated touch from staff, now brief, controlled interactions. Still selective, still careful, but no longer closed. He's not shutting down, the trainer observed. He's choosing. One afternoon, a child passed too quickly near his kennel. Bo stiffened, then stopped, looked at Maya. She knelt beside him, placed her hand calmly on his shoulder. It's okay, she said. Bo exhaled, relaxed. That was the moment Jenna smiled. He's learning from you now, she said. At home, Maya noticed her own changes. She slept through the night. She stopped checking her phone for messages that would never come. She framed the photo of Leah and placed it on the shelf, not hidden anymore. Bo noticed it too. Sometimes he sat beneath it, gazing up quietly. They weren't fixing each other. They were accompanying each other. On a rainy afternoon, Maya slipped on the stairs outside the building. It wasn't serious, just a jolt, a moment of panic. Bo reacted instantly, placing himself beside her, body pressed firm against her leg, grounding her until the shaking passed. She laughed then, surprised, relieved. I'm okay, she told him. He stayed anyway. Weeks passed. Paperwork moved forward. The word adoption stopped feeling heavy. The day it became official, Bo walked out of the shelter with his head high, leash loose, eyes soft. No hesitation. No backward glance. At home that night, Maya sat on the floor, back against the couch. Bo approached slowly, deliberately. He climbed into her lap for the first time, careful of his weight, gentle in his trust, and rested his head against her chest. Maya closed her eyes. For the first time in years, the ache eased. Not gone, but shared. They stayed like that for a long time, breathing together, healing not by erasing the past, but by choosing to stay. The seasons changed without asking. One morning, Maya noticed it in the light, how it lingered longer in the apartment, warmer now, softer around the edges. The air smelled different on their walks. Less damp, more alive. Bo noticed too. He moved with an ease he hadn't known before. His steps were lighter. His posture relaxed but sure, like a dog who understood where he belonged. They had a rhythm now. Morning walks when the street was quiet and the world still waking up. Afternoons near the park, sitting beneath the same trees where sunlight filtered down in slow, patient patterns. Evenings on the couch, Maya reading, Bo stretched out with one paw touching her leg, just enough. Always just enough. The protective edge never fully disappeared. Didn't need to. Bo still listened first. Still checked doors. Still lifted his head at unfamiliar sounds. But the tension was gone. What remained was watchfulness without fear. Love without urgency. One evening, Maya stood at the kitchen window, watching dusk settle over the city. Cars passed below, headlights flickering like distant fireflies. Bo sat beside her. Not guarding. Sharing. She reached down and rested her hand on his head. He leaned into it, eyes closing, breath deep and steady. You did it, she whispered. You kept her safe. Bo didn't move. He didn't need to. Some truths don't require acknowledgement. They live quietly in the space between beings who understand each other. A week later, Maya visited the shelter one last time. Not as a volunteer. Not as someone searching for meaning, but as someone returning something precious. Closure. Jenna met her near the front desk. You both look different, she said, smiling. Maya glanced down at Bo. He stood calmly at her side, tail loose, eyes soft. "He's home," Maya replied. Jenna nodded. "I always knew he would be." As they walked out, Maya paused at kennel 12, now empty, waiting for someone new. She placed her hand briefly against the cool metal. Then she turned and left without looking back. That night, a storm rolled through again. Not violent, just steady rain tapping gently against the windows. Maya lay in bed listening. Bo slept nearby, stretched out comfortably, one ear twitching occasionally in dreams. At some point, thunder murmured in the distance. Bo lifted his head. Listen. Then settled again. Trusting the world. Trusting her. Maya closed her eyes. For the first time, grief didn't sit heavy on her chest. It rested somewhere else now, folded into memory, softened by presence. She thought of Leah. Not with pain. With gratitude. For the love she'd given. For the dog she'd raised. For the way love finds paths we don't understand until it's already arrived. In the quiet dark, Bo shifted closer, resting his back against the side of the bed. A familiar position. Promise. He would stay. She would stay. Whatever came next, joy, loss, ordinary days and extraordinary moments, they would meet it together. Because some bonds aren't formed by chance. They're carried forward. Protected. Remembered. And once they find their way back, they never let go.